Minneapolis Catholic School Massacre. Shooter identified as 23-year-old Robin. August 27th, Minneapolis. What was supposed to be a sacred day. The first Mass of the school year, at Annunciation Catholic School, turned into a nightmare. Gunfire shattered stained glass windows, children screamed in terror, and a community of faith was shaken to its core. We uncover the chilling story of the attacker, 23-year-old Robin Westman. Who was this person? Why did they target a Catholic school? And what disturbing evidence did federal investigators find just moments before the massacre? This is the full story of the Minneapolis Catholic school shooting, an act now being investigated as both domestic terrorism and a hate crime. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. The day of the attack. It was Wednesday morning, August 27th, 8:30 a.m. Students, teachers, and parents gathered inside Annunciation Catholic Church, attached to the South Minneapolis Catholic School. The day began like so many others. Children in uniforms, parents snapping first-day pictures, and teachers leading prayers. A subject who identifies himself as a woman with a macabre, terrifying, and twisted plan. A real monster does not belong to the school. But that day, he dressed in a shirt similar to the school uniform to camouflage himself among the students and go unnoticed and not attract attention. But then, the sound of shattering glass echoed through the holy sanctuary. Police say Robin Westman, armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, opened fire through the church windows. Bullets tore through pews and stained glass, striking children and elderly parishioners who were seated near the front. Within minutes, chaos engulfed the church. Screams filled the air as families ducked behind pews, desperate to shield loved ones. Some teachers acted as human shields. Others rushed children out through side exits. By the time the shooting stopped, 2 children were dead, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. 17 others were injured, 14 of them children, and 3 parishioners in their 80s. The young man explained that his quick reaction came from regular active shooter drills practiced at the school, though never at the church, a difference that left Victor shot and hospitalized. 3 minutes later, the first shot was fired, and the police were very good because they arrived very quickly. It was super scary. And the shooter? Westman was found dead in the parking lot from what they believe was a self-inflicted gunshot. Police Chief Brian O'Hara said authorities were searching a vehicle in the parking lot believed to be the shooter's, and 3 associated residences in the area. 3 firearms were used, all legally purchased by Westman. O'Hara said Westman used all 3 weapons and fired dozens of rounds. Westman tried to barricade the doors with a wooden plank on the side of the church where he was shooting. Who was Robin Westman? Behind the violence was a troubled past. Robin Westman was just 23 years old. The shooter's mother worked at Annunciation. An August 2021 post on the Facebook page for the Church of the Annunciation celebrated the retirement of Mary Grace Westman after 5 years working there. It is not clear if Robin Westman ever attended church, visited the grounds, or was enrolled in school at Annunciation. A phone call and text message to a cell phone number listed as belonging to Mary Grace Westman was not answered Wednesday afternoon. Attempts were made to contact the shooter's father at an address listed as his residence, but no one answered the door. Phone calls and text messages to numbers associated with Robin Westman's siblings also went unanswered. In 2019, court filings show Westman legally changed their name from Robert to Robin, stating they identified as a female and wanted her name to reflect that identification. Police now believe Westman returned to the school. In the week leading up to the attack, walking the halls as teachers prepared for the new school year, a chilling prelude to what was to come, authorities confirmed that Westman did not have a criminal history. No arrests, no convictions. Instead, investigators are combing through journals, online activity, and a digital manifesto left behind, searching for a motive. The manifesto. Investigators made a disturbing discovery: a manifesto that Westman had scheduled to be uploaded on YouTube. The video, which was quickly removed by federal agents, reportedly showed Westman at the scene of the school. Alongside the footage were hateful writings targeting Catholics. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara described the manifesto as disturbing, but refused to release details publicly. The FBI has since confirmed that the writings are part of an investigation into possible domestic terrorism and religious hate crimes. This wasn't just an act of violence. It was an act meant to spread fear, hatred, and division. Survivors and heroes. In tragedy, we often find stories of courage. One teacher reportedly shielded 3 students with her own body. Another ushered dozens of children through a side door, saving them from the gunfire. Parents describe rushing to the scene, frantically searching for their children among the chaos. Today, 2 families are mourning the unimaginable loss of young lives cut short. 17 others are recovering, their lives forever changed. Witnesses to the shooting. When Pat Scallon heard gunshots around the corner from his Minneapolis home, "I didn't know exactly what it was at first, but after about the 10th shot, I knew something was wrong," he recalled. Scallon raced to the Annunciation Catholic school, where he said he saw a magazine on the ground by the church. "It was eerily quiet, and then I immediately turned and ran to the front of the church, and right at that time everyone was coming out, and it was chaotic," Scallon told Good Morning America on Thursday. Streaming from the church were children suffering emotional and physical wounds, he said, adding that he saw a boy and a girl who had been shot in the head as well as a girl shot in the neck. "They were very frightened. They wanted their mom and dad," he said. "And I sat them down and just tried to keep them calm, and I was watching them close to see if there'd be any change in their status." Scallon said the girl shot in the head asked him, "Please just hold my hand." "I did," he said. Mike Garrity was walking home from the gym Wednesday morning when he heard a series of loud noises that he initially thought were coming from a nail gun at a construction site. But when Garrity got closer to the Annunciation Catholic Church, he realized something terrible had happened. Garrity, 64, who lives across the street from the church and the adjoining Catholic elementary school, saw about a dozen crying children stream out of the school. At least 3 of them were covered in blood, he said in a phone interview. He saw adults who appeared to be members of the school's faculty or staff. "Don't go in there," one of them said. Garrity soon learned that a person had opened fire during a morning mass. The suspect, identified by federal law enforcement as Robin Westman, killed at least 2 children and injured 17 others, including 14 kids. Weston Halsney, 10, a 5th grader at the school, that his friend Victor was shot while lying on top of him. Weston said that he ran under a pew while shots came through the stained glass windows and covered his head. An active shooting tactic that the school practiced on a regular basis. But the students had never practiced such a drill in church, he added. Halsen's father, Grant, said the shooter shot out the stained glass of the church from outside the building. This was the 3rd day of school. "It's just a cowardly act. It's pretty sick." The Reverend Bob Hart, a former interim pastor at Annunciation, said the violence was practically inconceivable to him. "It's hard to believe this could happen at a Catholic Mass," said Hart, 77, who described the church and school as a very close-knit and very supportive community. Hart said he did not know the identities of the victims, but if they become public, he added, he expects to recognize many of the names. In an interview, a nearby resident said she ran for cover after hearing shots ring out. Another was inside her home and told her daughter to get into their home's basement for fear of being hit by a ricochet. Andrew Winchell was on his porch, roughly a block away from the church, when he heard piercing noises that he, too, mistook for a nail gun. It was this incredibly loud and repeated pop, 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 then a pause, then another pop, 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 pop. It just kept going and going, said Winchell, a 42-year-old construction worker and stay-at-home dad. Agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives recovered at least one firearm from the scene, and they are beginning the tracing protocol, according to an ATF source in Minneapolis. The father of 2 boys who attend the school said he was at work when he got a text message from his wife. She said shots had been fired and only one of their sons had been located. "I immediately left work," said the father, who would give only his first name, Tyler. "I was a nervous wreck. I was just shocked and in disbelief that this was happening at Annunciation. I couldn't get here quick enough." He was ultimately reunited with both of his boys. The Reverend Erich Rutten, a Roman Catholic priest whose parish is near Annunciation, went inside the school to offer support to families trying to make sense of the tragedy. Rutten said he saw parents in great anxiety and grief, including some who were wailing and crying, some stooping to the ground, he said. He hugged the people he recognized. Then he began to pray the rosary, and others joined in. "We're asking God to help in this situation," Rutten said. The FBI investigation. The FBI has now taken over the case, labeling it both a domestic terrorism investigation and a hate crime. FBI Director Kash Patel spoke bluntly, "This attack deliberately targeted Catholics. We will follow every lead, and we will not stop until we uncover the full truth." Agents are analyzing Westman's digital footprint, social media posts, group affiliations, and possible contacts with extremist communities. Investigators believe the manifesto was meant to inspire others, a pattern seen in other acts of domestic terror. But so far, no accomplices have been identified. Police maintain that Westman acted alone.